Hi there, Jean Greer here at Stylish Fireplaces with some help on how to operate your Dimplex Optimyst CDFI cassettes. Behind me I have a CDFI1000 cassette, and then we have our GBF1500, which has both the CDFI1000 and the CDFI500 contained within the box. So the remote control is identical, the manual controls are the same, but they have slightly different features. So there are a couple of things that might be different on those units. Always with the operation of any of your electric fireplaces, you want to have your owner's manual handy, because inside there are always operations controls, operations instructions. And this is where you'll find all the different ways to control your fireplace, including the manual controls as well as remote controls. And if there's an app for the unit, then that would be covered in the manual as well. So you always want to locate your owner's manual and have that handy until you get familiar with the controls. The manual controls on this unit have the most options and have some settings that cannot be done on the remote control. I can't show you the manual controls with this video set up, but the manual, thank goodness, has really good drawings and explanations. And so I'm going to use that for starters. And then we'll talk about the tethered control and the remote control. So let's have a look at the manual controls. So if I lift the top on my CDFI, I'm going to see exactly this inside. So this is the main power switch. If that's not turned on, then the unit isn't going to operate. So we turn that on. This is the standby or the power button. This is going to get the lights going and start the mist production. This is the button we use to synchronize the remote, and this unit does require the remote to be synchronized with the base unit, and so this will happen with the manual controls. This is the test mode, so if I need to do some troubleshooting, I'm going to need that button, and there are some detailed instructions on how to do troubleshooting for service. These are the flame control buttons. So the lower one makes the flames less, and the larger one makes the flames more. This controls the mist output, so how I want my flames to look, how much mist I want coming out. And these are the volume controls for the crackling sound that you hear. On the manual controls, these will turn the volume up and down to different levels. We'll talk about the remote. It is not quite the same control on the volume, but with the manual controls, I can make it louder or less loud and not just on and off. So this is the control panel that I'm going to see if I remove the top on my CDFI unit. Let's talk about the tethered control and the remote control. So inside this unit, there is a little tethered controller. It is physically attached to the base of this unit, and it must be present for the remote control to work. My remote control looks like this. It is a very basic, simple remote. So I have my power button. So if the main power is turned on underneath the top there on my manual controls, then this will put my fireplace into standby mode and turn on the lights and start the process of producing mist. Next to the power button, I have the volume button that we talked about for the crackling sound. On the remote control, that turns the crackling on and off. So there I've turned off the entire fireplace. There I'm turning it back on, and you see that slight delay, and then my volume. So I don't want to hear crackling, I turn the volume off. I do want to hear crackling, I turn it back on. I have two of them crackling at the same time, and they are not connected to the same remote. But on the remote, the crackling sound may be turned on and off. I cannot control the volume level unless I use the manual control. So I can't just have it less loud. It's either going to be on or off on the remote control. And then we have the heater buttons. Now, on the CDFI cassettes, I would have had to connect a heater, and my heater is up here. I do have a heater. If I have a heater and the main power switch is on my heater, I can control heat on and off here. If I don't have a heater, these buttons won't do anything. On the GBF unit, the heater is built in, and so of course these buttons will control that heater. It's built into the GBF box. And then last but not least, we have the flame control buttons across the top. So the smaller flame will turn the mist down, the larger flame will turn the mist up. And that's how I control how much mist is coming out. And that has to be adjusted slightly for different environments and different tastes. So if I like it really rolling out, I'm going to crank it up. There is a few second delay when I adjust the mist, so it's not immediate, but it will adjust the mist output as you press those buttons up and down. And so you can control how much of this is rolling out. So that's how the remote works. I'm going to just turn this unit off. And I'm just going to show you how to access your manual control and your tethered control. So this media tray comes off of the unit, and then underneath here, the manual controls are tucked away back here, and my tethered control is sitting back here. And we've tucked ours inside the unit so it's not visible, but it is connected so that we can operate everything else. And so that's how you access your manual controls, and then we can turn that back on. One thing to remember about the Optimyst is normally we would suggest that you have a plumbing line connected. If you don't plumb it, it could run out of water occasionally. If that happens, the mist production can't occur. What you'll see are flashing lights. You'll see blinking lights with no mist coming out. It's telling you it's out of water. So if you see that happening, then the problem is the water source, that you need to refill your reservoir. If it's plumbed and you're seeing that happening, then we need to look at why isn't the water getting to the unit. But flashing lights with no mist means that you're out of water. And you're noticing here there is a delay. I've turned it on, but I'm not getting mist. And there is about a 45-second delay when we first turn on these units before the mist starts to come out, and then it will start out. You'll also notice it comes out in sections. So a CDFI1000 is really two reservoirs. If you can imagine, it's kind of like two of the CDFI500 reservoirs within this one box. And so they're going to come on in different order. They're not going to come on exactly the same time. There's a primary and a secondary on these units in how they operate. And on the GBF1000, of course, I've got multiple units in there. What can happen occasionally is those can get out of sync. So you go to press your power button, you go to put the flames on, and one or two of the units will come on and the other one won't come on. And then you press the button again and the two that are on go off and the other one comes off. They're out of sync. The way to get them back in sync is to press this standby or on-off button quickly in succession, and it will get them back into sync. And you may have to do that a couple of times. It's a hard thing to do at just the right interval. But if you find that your unit is out of sync because you've got multiples like we do on a GBF1000, or you've got multiples of these together, you can have up to 5 of these units on a single remote, but they can get out of sync occasionally. So it's pressing that power button quickly in succession twice, and that will get them back into synchronization. So those are your tips for operating your Dimplex Optimyst CDFI1000 or CDFI500 or any combination that you might have. If you don't have your owner's manual to refer to for those operation instructions, go to stylishfireplaces.ca, look up the model that you have, and go to the installation tab. You will find the owner's manual there.